Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Caselabs Merlin SM8. Now for those of you that follow me on Facebook, you'll know that I've had this rig for quite a while, because when I first got it I posted pictures up, then we posted pictures of the kit that we've put inside it to kind of demonstrate it. Because with a case like this it's a little hard to kind of do the kind of normal review, because you don't get fans with the case, and it's very modular, so you can kind of tailor what you need to your specific rig or your plans for your rig and your project and so forth. So for something that's as massively varied as this, it's really difficult to give it kind of just a normal review, as you would with a case where everything's pretty much in there and comes as it would. This is just massively expandable. Now I need to cover some things to start with, really, because it is that massively expandable. First of all, this is the first of the matte white that I've seen. It's like a textured white as well. It's not a smooth white. It's not like the gloss that they used to do. They've dropped the gloss white option now, and they're going with this kind of textured matte stroke satin finish. And when we come in for a closer look, I'll show you the finish better. Hopefully the camera will be able to pick it up. Now it's available from the Caselabs store, which is obviously a US based store, for $379.95. If you're going to be buying this in the UK, don't forget you're going to need to not only add on shipping, but when it comes into the UK you will be needing to pay duty on it, which is essentially your VAT, and you'll get some shipping, some handling charges to go on top of that as well, so it's worth considering about. Other things, this is obviously the white. They do it in black, but you can also get it in what they call primer grey, which is basically that you can, it's essentially just primer, so it's ready for painting. You can also get it assembled or flat packed, so if you are going to be painting it, you can buy it in the primer grey, take it straight to your spray booth, or give it straight to your painter, or take it straight to your shed, whatever, and then you can go straight in and paint it straight away. Pretty good option there. Other options are, this one is for 4 times 120mm or a 480mm rad in the roof and in the floor, but you can also have it for 140mm times 3 radiator as well. Now I've not got the radiator, but one of the problems with the 140 times 3s at the moment is there are 2 different fan spacings, so you'll need to email Caselabs to ask which, because it wasn't until I literally clicked record on this video I thought about it. Some of the radiators are 20mm, most of them are 15mm. And I say most of them are 15mm, you have got a couple of them out there that are 20, so it's worth double checking your radiators, double checking the radiator spacings. Considering the hoo-ha we went through years ago to get the 120mm to 15mm, I would have thought all of the manufacturers would have carried on with that 15mm spacing, because there's no need for that extra 20 in my opinion. But anyway, that's something to just keep in mind. Also, things with this. This has got the extra large window on the side. You can see it comes up very close to the side of the panel, and essentially what that means is you can see more than the motherboard tray. The normal window is roughly over the motherboard, but obviously with this you can see it's absolutely ginormous, and you've got that extra bit. You can also have it ventilated should you wish. On the opposite side of the case, I've got a solid panel, but you can have that ventilated as well, so that you've got extra airflow really. But with this case, there's nothing really back there that you would need the ventilation for, which is why I opted for the solid panel. Other options that you've got, you can have a drop-in panel for the roof. Basically that's for the we've got a 480 rad in there, and we have got the drop-in panel as well. That was one of the things that came with it. Something I did do though is the front. Generally you have these 2 optical bay, like normal single bay slots, and then you have 3 of these, and they bolt in from the inside, because the thing with these cases, they're infinitely removable. You can take everything off. Now you normally have 3 of these, so in total you've got 9, 10, 11 drive bays down the front. But what I've done, because I've still got the M8 that I reviewed last year, I went out and I got the M8 triple radiator plate. So we've actually got a 360mm radiator in the front as well. Now this is just one of the cost options that you can get. The front bit that I've got is in the old gloss white, but I just used it to show you when we get inside how much room there is, and you can have two massive radiators in there. One of the things with the Caselabs I really like is the fact that everything does pull off and go together so easily, and the fact that it is so infinitely modular. I've said it before and I'll say it again, these cases just make a mountain mods look like a high school project. The fact that the mountain mod stuff's all flat panels, it's all really basic, they're just ridiculously basic, and it's now got to the point in the industry where Caselabs just appear out of nowhere and they're churning out some amazing stuff. Just the fact that this door is on a hinge, but you can also remove it, you know, nice and simple. Just drop it back into place as well. You do need to be a bit of a genius to get it on first time, but you can do that, slam it shut. All the panels can come off, like the roof panel. He says it just needs to give it a bit of a tug. Aha! Roof panel comes off again. You can see that we've got plain mesh, so we've got no fan mounts or anything on there, but we've got the 480 in the roof. Everything just clips back into place. Some people have said to me they don't like the clips. Now the clips, they can get a bit worn, but in your pack from Caselabs, they do send you some spares. Let me see how many I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 6 in here, so you could replace pretty much all of them should it go wrong. Now in your pack from Caselabs, you get some grommets, which, well, I can't actually see where they go, but you've got your grommets. You've got some plates that you can mount your optical bays into in the front should you want to use them. Stickers. There's a motherboard handle. Oh, that's what that's for. Now I know. There's just loads, and they send this out, and they also send you a lovely little pack telling you what to do with your case and how to assemble it and what everything's for. I should probably have read that. But anyway, what I'm going to do is we've had a bit of enough chit chat with you from a distance. It's now time to bring you in and have a look at the case. Now where's my remote? Because I do need to stop the recording. So yeah, we're going to bring you in, we're going to have a look at the case, we'll have a good look around it, do it the old school style kind of normal way, but really all we need to do is have a look at the top. The inside is the main thing with this, and it is, and the hardware I've put in it isn't a full system. I've just put some kit in there to kind of demonstrate the kind of room and the hardware that you can get inside, because I can't build a full water cooling loop for every time I get one of these cases. I'd never ever get any other work done. So what I've done is I've just put some choice hardware in here to show you kind of sizes, to give you an idea, and anyone that's thinking about buying this case anyway is going to want to do different things with it. So this is just kind of like a basic representation to try and, you know, trigger a few ideas off for you. But anyway, it's now time for me to bring you in so we can finally shush my mouth and get that closer look. I always end up pressing the menu button. Right then, it's so huge, I've got the camera back a lot further than I would have normally, but I'll try and sit a little bit further out of shot. But we've got some lovely anti-vandal switches here. I'm not sure whether these are proper bulging ones or lamptrons. I know this is going to sound really stupid, but by that click, I'd say that's a lamptron. The bulging ones have got a much more positive click on them. Yeah, that's a lamptron. Yes, I am that sad. But we've got a 19mm and a 16mm switch at the bottom. So we've obviously got a power switch, reset switch, and then you'll have a power light and then a hard drive activity light, because that's a little dot one. We've got USB 3 only in the front. There's 4 of them there, and you have got internal headers. You've also got your usual audio jacks on the front. And I'll just show you while you're up close. We pull the front off. You can see how you attach the panels down the side. Basically, they push in from inside and then you screw them from the outside. Now this is something I wanted to say. You can also see that you can move the switch over should you want. But the panel does, if you just flip it round, line up, which is quite amazing. But this is because one of the options that I forgot to tell you is you can have the whole case inverted if you want, have your motherboard flipped around the other way, so you can have it both ways. Even if you did just want to put your power switch over here, it'd make a complete arse for cabling, but you can do it, and like I said, you just flip the front panel round, so it's genius. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the camera quickly, and I'll take you up for a look at the roof, and I'll show you the drop-in 480 panel that we've got up there. Now, moving on to the roof panel, you can have this completely solid if you don't want vents in it. This is the standard vent layout. You can have it with 120mm fan mounts in the actual mesh as well, should you want. And if you have it with the mesh, if you have it with the fan mounts in, you bolt the radiator to the roof. So that's something worth remembering. Oh, there we go. But I've got the drop-in mount, which basically means you fit the mount in the roof and then you bolt the radiator to that. And we've got the fans on the inside because there's no room to fit them on the outside. Now, I have looked on the Caselabs website, and there's no mention of a new roof panel yet. But I'm pretty sure I've spoken to them about it, or it's at least been mentioned, because they normally have roof panels for everything. And normally they have a couple of different sizes so you can get different stuff on. I don't think a roof panel with an extra sort of like 25 or 30 mil so that you can put these fans on the outside would be a bad idea. I'm hoping they do it, but we'll see. But I'll talk about it like you could do. You could have it anyway, because if you get the fans on the outside, it would mean you have a little bit more room on the inside to be able to fit a ginormous radiator at the front. But anyway, that's your roof panel. One thing I will say though is just to show you, there are these cutouts up here. These are perfect for putting fan cables through, which is another reason why I was thinking, you know, maybe they will. But if you had the roof panel that you bolt the fans into, this would be where you would drop your cables down. Obviously this is the 480mm one, so we've got 4 times 120mm fans in the roof. Also, you can get this for 3 times 140mm fans as well. It's all standard 15mm fan spacing as well. But you know, that's your roof panel, easy off and on. I'd like to think that we could get a bigger roof panel for this, because obviously it's just one of the things that they are kind of famed for, and it would just give, you know, the viewers that maybe want to swap it out that extra bit of you know, option to be able to add a bit more room in so we can get thicker radiators in. It would allow us to be able to run an 80mm rad inside with push-pull. That may be asking a lot for a case of this size, but it's just one panel in it. But anyway, let's move on and we'll crack on with the review. Righty-heighty then, peeps, round to the back of the case. Now, if I undo these screws on the back, I think some of you, I should have put the motherboard handle on, but I think some of you will laugh when I say that because this has a removable motherboard tray, this is a totally kick-ass product. I've never said that in a video before. Anyway, it has a motherboard tray. Yeah, I have put the cables in. You can literally pull it right out. It's on some quite nice runners, just to show you quickly, because there is a little bit of room there for me to be able to do it. It's on quite nice runners. You can pull it right out and obviously push it all straight back in again. Obviously you need to remove all your cables on the inside should you want to do it. Now, PCI slots at the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's normal ATX layout plus one more. You've got 120mm fan mount in the back, but as I've said to you, it doesn't come with fans. But to be fair, anyone that buys this case is going to be buying pretty high-end kit anyway, and it's more than likely going to have their own fan choices that they would want to go in there. These PCI slots are solid, but you can get hex mesh ones to go in the back should you want a bit of extra airflow. Power supply you can have in the bottom, as I've got it fitted, but there isn't actually any kind of airflow place underneath. You've got a 120mm fan mount down there that you can remove should you want to have your power supply that way round, but it doesn't really matter. You can also have the power supply in the roof. Again, there are fan mounts above it, but it's just stuff that you would have to remove to be able to get them in. But you can have the power supply whatever way round you like. Obviously, I've got my fan pointing up, as I always do. A lot of people say to me, why do you have your power supply pointing up? Well, if you think about it, if you had it in the roof of a case, in one of the old school cases, you always had the fan pointing down anyway to take the air out. But air in the top of the case, if you think about it, it'd be much hotter. So if it's in the bottom and it's pulling air out, it's going to be a little bit colder. But anyway, it doesn't matter because power supplies don't care what way they're mounted. But anyway, you can have that in the bottom or in the top. If you have it in the bottom, it does hinder your radiator choices in the bottom. But again, this means that if you want a 480 in the roof, you can have a 480 in the roof. If you want a 480 in the bottom, you can have it in the bottom. You just have to have your power supply on the other way. If I spin this round quickly, we can see the back panel. Now, ruler, there it is. So we have the back panel. You can see back here that we've got some mounts for, no, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the door off. We've got some mounts we've got a couple of solid state drive mounts here, and then we've also got 2 optical bay mounts round the back. You can see these are the USB 3 internal headers, and then we've got the HD audio and your normal kind of cables. We've got these looped up here just so it's out of the way. What we did notice is with our power supply, with it flipped around the other way, we did need an extender cable to plug the 8-pin in, because normally when the cases are tight, I would put it through the back of the motherboard tray. But this, you've got an extra plate. Now you can undo these screws and you have got a cutout in the back. But like I said, you do have to take this extra kind of like plate off. And we've just left it on and put an extender on for ease of use. But if you did wanted to do it that way, like I normally do, through the cutout, then you just have to take this plate off and leave it off out the way. Now we've got quite a lot of cable options. We've got 2 good cable options up here for the motherboard, 2 good cable options down here for the bottom of the motherboard, and then you've got the PSU cutout at the bottom. At the top here, I would say this is your cutouts for your radiator fans. As you can see, we've got them dangled out. So that all makes complete sense. Thank you for bibbing, whoever that is outside. We've got a couple of grommets here and here. I would say, again, these are to bring cables through from the front, should you be running water cooling. And you've also got a couple of cable routing options up here. And obviously that's for like your motherboard 24-pin power SATA cables. That type of thing. Scattered around the case, here, 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 and here, up here, 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 are all little latch mounts that you can put your zip ties through so that you can zip tie your cables in. I would say that this panel on the back of the motherboard tray needs more of these clip things so that you can clip things down better. That would be my opinion. You definitely need some scattered across this. It's a lot of kind of dead space there, and you're obviously going to have cables going up and down it. So I think this needs some as well, just to make things tidier. Now, behind the motherboard tray, you have, let's have a look-see. You have about 21mm of cable room. That's more than enough for your, all of your cables to fit out the back. But obviously we've got a couple of these extra like bridges or this kind of support down the middle, and that gets down to about 10mm. But with a 24-pin cable going over that, it's not a problem. The door closes fine, you don't feel it bulging, you don't have to give it a push or anything. There's still plenty of room. And the reason for that is we do have a fair bit of room in the door as well. There's the recess in the door. And while we're here, I'll try and show you the finish of the white. It is a textured kind of white finish. I can't actually see whether you're going to be able to see that or not, but you can hear it's not smooth, but it is a nice kind of, I'd say that's a satin white. It's definitely not a matte because I'm getting a bit of sheen off of it. But we'll stick this door back on. Oh, don't drop it, Tom. Oh, I thought I had it then. It's just a case of lining the 2 eyes up. There we go. And like I said, when we push it closed, you get that, and you do get, if you consider the door as well, because the door sits up against us, you do get a lot more room in the door for your cables. But like I said, with all that in there, it just pushes closed, latches shut, easy peasy. Now, moving round to the other side, what I'm going to do is take the door off again, move it out the way, and I think really we should probably move the camera a bit so that I can show you. There we go, in the bottom. As you can see, we've got the support bracket in for the power supply in the bottom there. You can. That's mainly though, that support bracket would be if you had it in the roof. We've fitted it in the bottom as well, just so that you can see that it's in there. Also, you can see the blanking panels that you've got for the bottom of the fan mounts. Now obviously you could put those fan mounts in if you wanted, and you could have extra cooling in there, but one of the things that we have done with this case, if you see, we come out, no, we'll move up a little bit instead. There we go. You can see that I've fitted a 360mm radiator in the front. Now that's only got a single set of fans on it, but you can see that you could easily get 2 sets of fans on that. One of the things that the reasons why we only put a single set of fans on it was, if you go up to the roof, you can see that we've got, this is a 60mm thick Phobia radiator, and we've got, it's push-pull, there are 2 sets of fans on that. And one of the reasons why we did that is you can see that 60mm thick rad, push-pull, and you've still got clearance above the motherboard. So this case has been designed to be able to do it. Now, it's the same amount of spacing at the bottom as well, so you could run your 60mm thick push-pull in the bottom as well if you wanted. But the reason why we didn't put push-pull on the front rad is you can see that it just starts to kind of encroach on this fan a little bit more. But it's all down to personal preference really. But either way, you can get a 60mm thick with push-pull in the roof. And the case isn't that tall really. As you can see, we've just got a normal power supply in the bottom. It's like a mid-tower case with the, well, it's a full tower case size, but with proper water cooling support. You can see that there's acres of room in the front as well. If you really wanted to, you could have your 480 in the roof. I would probably say with your 480, you just want a single set of fans on it. Or you can buy an extra tower bit for the roof so that you can put the roof, you can put fans outside if you want. But you could easily get a 360mm monster radiator, like 80mm thick in the front with push-pull. And if you move the radiator up so the fans were outside, because like I said, you can buy the extra roof panel, then you could easily, you'd have enough room there. Let's face it, we don't need optical drives anymore. I've not used one for ages. The only time I ever use an optical drive is when I'm reviewing a product that's so new, they've not put drivers for it up on the manufacturer's website. It may not even have a page on the manufacturer's website. But beyond that, once we've got past that point and it's a product that's out on general release, I just use that website to download stuff. And as far as installing Windows is concerned, I either use a USB stick or I have got an external CD drive. But in none of my personal rigs will you ever see an internal optical now. I much prefer it looking nice and clean like this. So, as you can see, we've got acres upon acres of room inside. This is just a normal kind of ATX motherboard, but if you were to be running a Rampage 3, for example, sorry, Rampage 4, then it actually does come to the exact outside point of this motherboard tray, because obviously the Rampage, you've still got those mounts there, but it comes a little bit further on. If you've got something that's longer, then you're going to run into problems with getting it out the back when it slides. So you will just have to be careful with the sizes of your motherboards and stuff like that. But other than that, you should be fine. I think, really, that's pretty much everything. Because all you guys really wanted to see was the size and what you can get in. So if we come back a little bit so that we can give you a better look again. There you can see. So hopefully that will give you some ideas for what you could possibly do with this case. I think personally that this is probably one of the better sized Caselabs that I've seen. I think it's more accessible. But anyway, I don't want to say too much now because we really need to move on to the conclusion. And something else I have just noticed, which is quite bad of me really. I said before that we hadn't run push-pull on the front. But with the bracket that I used, see where I built it quite a while ago, you can see that it comes inside the case. There is a set of fans on it as well. They're just on the other side. How bad am I? So that the front radiator is push-pull as well. So if you have a look at that kind of gap, if you added another 20mm on for a monster rad, it would be out here. So it would near enough cover that top fan. And there's not a massive amount of room there for it to breathe. But if you add the extra roof fan bracket so that you put the top fans in the roof area, you'd have quite a bit of room there for it to be able to breathe, and it would be much better off. So you could essentially have a 480 in the roof and a monster 360 in the front. Hell, you could have both monsters if you were really that crazy and you didn't mind the little gaps. There's plenty of room down the side for it to be able to breathe after all. It wouldn't be the end of the world. But anyway, I need to shush. We need to move on to a conclusion, and I need to put the camera back on the tripod. Right then, peeps, you made it to the conclusion. I'm going to talk about the award first, or I'll tell you the award first and then we'll discuss why. I can't really give it anything else but the Gold Award. It is expensive. They are expensive, but one of the things that you need to kind of consider is the people that are going to whinge that these are expensive are the people that generally can't afford it. And it's not because it's a bad case, it's because they want it and they can't afford it. That's normally when I see people moaning about stuff, that's generally the reason what I see is happening. Because if you really consider it as a product of what it's able to deliver, it is worth the money. There's many of you out there that are going to go, $379, think about what I can do in that case. Yes, I want one. And they are becoming massively, massively popular. There are more and more people even importing these into the UK and paying all those extra fees just because of the options that they can bring. Like I said to you, you can pick your colours, you can pick your top panel, you can pick your front panel, you can pick whether you want 120mm rads, you can pick whether you want 140mm rads. You can flip the case round if you want. You can have solid panels, you can have ventilated panels, you can have small windows, you can have big windows. You can buy as many accessories for the front and everywhere else that you can possibly dream of. There are reams upon reams of them on their website. The options are endless. But just from a water cooler standpoint, let's have a little bit of a think as it casually swings past like it's what I asked it to do. In the front, I did make a little bit of a boo-boo earlier, but we have got a 360mm rad in push-pull in the front. We've also got a 480mm rad in push-pull in the roof. You could get an 80mm thick rad in the front so easily, there's so much room here, and still be able to have room for a decent reservoir. I'm quite liking the D5 standy uppy bits power reservoirs at the moment. That's why I'm putting one in Orca, just to give you a little bit of a look. We'll put it in. Comes with a little stand, tube res, lovely bubbly, goes in, awesome. So you've got plenty of room for one of those. You could, if you really, really wanted to, get an 80mm rad in the roof. I would probably say it might be a little bit tight for push-pull, but maybe experiment with that. In the front, definitely without a problem. You'd probably be able to get one in the floor, actually, with a lot less problems than the roof, because you've only really got the motherboard cables and stuff at the bottom. So if you were going to go 80mm and push-pull, I'd probably say the floor would be better, but you may want to think about slightly bigger case feet. You'd also have to move this radiator up right the way to the top, but you should be alright. You should be alright. Anyway, right, so water cooling options, there's so much there. You can get mechanicals, only solid state drives in the back. It keeps it out of the way, keeps everything in here nice and tidy, really nice and clean. You've not got the options for massive motherboards with this case, but Caselabs do other brands for the the massive wide ones and stuff, like the SRX, the SR2, the Asus motherboards, that type of thing. But if you've got something like a Rampage 4 Extreme, or this is just a normal ATX Gigabyte UD3 2011 motherboard, you can see that it's it's going to fit in there fine. You can fit a couple of graphics cards in there fine, and you can loop your water loop up, and you're not going to have any issues. There's ample options. And the fact that they actually are willing to send you one of these in bare primer as well, so you can paint it yourself or get it going, get it coated. You know, if you wanted yourself, you could go to your local powder coaters and go to them and say, do you know what I mean, this is the case, this is what I want done. They'd be like, right, lovely, you could choose your colours that way. There's just so many options, it's brilliant. And the thing is they really do cater to the proper enthusiast. And I'm talking about the enthusiast. Yeah, okay, some things are expensive and some people may be being held back by the fact that they've got a family, you know, maybe they don't earn so much as other people. But for those lucky enough to have the disposable money out there, that they want to build something kind of unique and they're looking for something that, you know, fits within their the ideas that they've got going around in their heads and stuff, Caselabs pretty much cater for all of you. As long as you like, it's not like, for argument's sake, like the NZXT Phantom 820 or the CM Stormtrooper, where it's all kind of like angles and there's a lot of design going on the outside. These are quite simple and sleek on the outside, but when you open the doors and you take the panels off, it's just like, Jesus, the amount of options that you've got on the inside are massive. You can pretty much just buy one of these and just chuck bits at it. Unlike me with my Orca rig, where I've had to spend weeks upon weeks chopping bits off and taking this out and making false panels for this, false panels for that, to try and get, you know, the layout that I wanted. With this, you could pretty much bolt it in. So you do end up paying a premium for it, but again, you've just got infinite amounts of options there. So it's pretty much up to you. Are you going to be one of the people that just says it's just too expensive, I can have a better case, you know, I can spend less and get a better case? That's completely down to you. But what you need to remember, for each one of you that are going to bitch and moan about it, there's so many other people that do actually see the viability of this case. So don't quite be so narrow-minded. It might not be perfect for you, but there are a lot of people out there that it would be perfect for. It doesn't give you the right to kind of like slag it off the way some of you have done in the past in the comments. But I love it. I can see endless options with this. And you could build an amazing looking system in it and not really have to spend a huge amount of time on it either. Water cooling, it's an absolute, you know, dream case for. It just makes things so easy for that. But anyway, I've obviously given it the OC3D Gold Award. Doesn't really get much better than that as far as he's concerned. It is, and I have said it before, Caselabs are making some of the best enthusiast cases on the planet at the moment. They've got such a wide range with so many options. They really are catering for those of us, you know, that know what we want and don't mind, you know, appreciating the fact that these things are made in quite low volume compared to like a Stormtrooper or something, where they make loads of them. These are made in quite low volume. So that's another reason why the price is going to be slightly higher. But when you consider the amount of these that you're going to see on a local forum and, you know, some of the other Cooler Masters or Corsair cases or something, you can understand, you know, you've got to, you know, think about business at the end of the day. And would they really be quite as popular, you know, with some people price-wise if, you know, everyone had them? I don't think they would. But anyway, I've said enough. This is Tiny Tom Logan with the Gold Award-winning Caselabs Merlin SM8 with you. I don't know, I lost complete train of thought then. But anyway, it's the end of the video, guys. Ding!